Miss Washington 2024 is Miss Seattle.
Okay, good morning, beautiful. Look at that sparkly thing on top of your head. Oh my goodness.
It's so cool.
It's so tall.
It is.
Yay! I love it. I love it. Well, I'm glad you're on here. So I know you have so many people who know you because this is not your first rodeo, chickadee. You've done this pageant thing for a minute, right?
I have. It's been quite a while now.
Yeah, I just want to make a quick introduction of who I am for any of those folks who might be hopping on to get to listen to you this morning so they know who this crazy old lady is who wants to talk to you this morning. So I'm Breann Parriott Gray, and I'm a former Miss Washington. I was Miss Washington in 2001, which now makes Hermona and I sisters.
I love it.
And over the years, I have had the opportunity to engage in some pageant coaching, specifically with regard to developing empowered women through their communication skills. And that's really where my heart is for the Miss America organization and for you, young ladies. And so I have started a coaching business just over the course of the past year and really desired to invest in getting to know our young women better through these kinds of conversations. And so obviously you have people who have known you for years, people who have known you through other organizations,
Right.
but now here you are part of the Miss Washington organization. They've seen you on stage for just a little bit of your story, but they haven't heard your interview and they don't know what an interesting and compelling young woman you are.
Thank you.
And so I really wanted to have you join me this morning so that we could start a baseline for who Miss Washington 2024 is, what she's all about, what she's got planned for her year, how it is that you wooed the judges to selection for this year, because clearly they loved you as all of us do. And so I just wanted to first say, Hermona, congratulations on becoming Miss Washington 2024.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, every single time I hear it now, it still feels so surreal.
It probably will for a little bit. Like
probably.
So I understand this is your actual first interview as Miss Washington.
It is.
So that's an honor for me. But secondly, I know that it probably really won't feel like, okay, this is a bigger role, this is a bigger responsibility until you make that first appearance and you're actually out with people doing the job, right, of Miss Washington. And then I'm sure it'll really kick in and it'll start to feel the reality of it and the weight of it, which is a wonderful responsibility, right?
It really is.
Yeah. So I have to, well, let's go back and look at this for just a minute, because I felt like as an audience member, you were stunned when your name was called. I mean, shock, awe, you were just overwhelmed. I could see it in the moment. At least that's the vibe I was getting. So walk us through what those final moments were before your name was called and then once it happened.
Honestly, exactly those words, shock and awe, throughout my entire brain. And just looking back at it now, I feel like my mind kind of went blank at a certain point.
Yeah.
I remember standing there in that top two with Amber, one of my really, really, really great friends. And I remember both of us just speaking so many words of affirmation into each other and saying, regardless of who this goes to, we are going to support each other no matter what. And I think that really does just go to show the power of sisterhood that this opportunity and this organization really provides.
Yeah.
But
I would like to just say one thing about that, Hermona, because I think that also speaks to the depth of maturity, both yours and Amber's, because in that moment, I know many women who that's an incoherent moment for them, standing there as the last two, and who is it going to be? So the fact that you two ladies were actually able to stand up there together and affirm one another in that moment, again, just speaks to the maturity. So I just want to point that out. I love that.
Thank you. But yeah, I remember once I heard my name called, my entire mind went blank. I remember seeing my family in the very front of the audience, holding up their Hermona signs and
Yes.
everything. And
Oh, we were
it
right
was
behind
great.
them, by the way. My husband and I were
I
sitting right
did
behind your mom and
too.
dad.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, my entire mind went blank. I feel like it really just felt like such an out of body experience. And it was honestly a moment that I've always dreamt of my entire life. I remember watching Miss Washington competitions year after year after year with my mom growing up, um, and just always admiring so many of the women on that stage, and always thinking, what that moment must be like for them. And the fact that it finally happened to me, and it happened in this timing, it just feels so full circle in so many ways. And I remember once the confetti went off, it was the funniest thing because the confetti accidentally had gone off during rehearsal, and so we kind of knew to expect it, but I still got so scared from it as soon as I heard it. I completely jumped, but it was so funny just looking back at that and just seeing how in shock I was and in awe I was with the entire experience. And then I think what really, really got me, and that's what I think when the tears really started flowing for me, was when all of my sisters just rushed me and I started hearing them chant my name.
Yes.
That was so special. That's when the tears were really flowing.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and Hermona, that's rare. That's rare. And so I want to point out to you, you have fans in this organization
Thank you.
already. And I think that that's really special. And I think you should be aware of how special that really is
Mhm.
because you kind of came on the scene last year, kind of out of
Right.
nowhere as an open title. And, here you are. And it's like, who is this gal? And you
Mhm.
bust right into the top 5 first time through. And it's just like, wow. But it wasn't what I love about the way that you came in is that you came in with a quiet confidence, with a humble spirit, with just an inner calm and a presence that caused others to really be attracted to you
Thank
because
you.
of who you are as a person. You have a naturally generous way about you that is
Thank you
just
so
so
much.
attractive and really just you're such a pleasant person to be
Thank you.
around. And so when you say, I was up there with Amber, one of my dear friends, I that's true. We know that to be true. It's not just because you just met Amber this weekend. You met
Mhm.
Amber a year ago, and you ladies have been on this journey together since, and you were both in the top 5 together last year. And so just really a precious friendship that you've been able to build with many of the women in the
Mhm.
system this past year. So talk a little bit about why you chose, when you've had success in other systems, and we'll talk about that too in just a minute. But first, I want to talk about the Miss America
Yeah.
organization and what attracted you to come into this system and this organization at this point in your life, and why you
Mhm.
chose it to help catapult your
Mhm.
success.
For me, it really felt just like the natural progression in my pageant journey to join the Miss America opportunity, especially at this point in my life. It's been an organization that I've admired for my entire life growing up, even before I had gotten started in pageantry. Just remembering, being able to visit Miss Washington competition and seeing so many of the women who compete on stage. And I posted about it actually right before the night before interviews. The very first Miss Washington I'd met was Kaylee Dunn, Miss
Okay.
Washington 2014. And just remembering how special and um, just special and authentic and genuine like our interaction was in that moment when I got to meet her for the very first time is just really what really motivated me to eventually go into the system, seeing the kind of women that the um, system raises essentially because of how many people are involved in this organization and how it truly does become a family, and just how many people are so dedicated to our success and our growth. And that was really, really what motivated me. And so it felt like for me, this just felt like the natural progression for me, especially just always admiring so many of the women who compete within this organization and always watching Miss America year after year with my mom growing up. It just always felt like it was eventually going to be time to eventually be able to compete. And I'm so grateful that it happened in this way and that I took that final step last year and decided, this is the time I'm going to take that first step. And it really paid off for me in the long run. And
Yes.
even going into it last year, I remember my intentions being, I want to try something new. I want to have fun. And if I walk away with something, that's great. If I don't, that's great too, because I know it's all part of the learning experience. And I'm really grateful that I decided to take that first step. And I'm so, so glad. And I really do recommend it to anybody out there who's interested in
Yeah.
it because it truly will change your life.
Absolutely, I agree with that 100%.
Hmm.
And that doesn't necessarily mean just because you take the title. It will change your
Exactly.
life for many reasons.
Right.
But
Right.
let's talk about, so you've had some other pageant
I
experience, which
have.
was a great training ground for coming into the Miss America opportunity.
Hmm.
However, there were some adjustments that you've had to make in your overall
Right.
preparation, and we worked a little bit on some of those things, but I know you've worked really hard independently on some of those things. And
Hmm.
so share a little bit about what was different about the
Hmm.
Miss America opportunity compared to what you've been familiar with in the past. And then
Hmm.
also share about any adjustments that you found yourself making to be your most prepared to step into this job
Hmm.
responsibility.
I feel like something that I really focused on, especially this year with my preparation, especially going into the Miss America opportunity, was really solidifying my business plan, solidifying a marketing plan, and really having an outline of what exactly it is that I want to leave as my impact with the organization as a title holder. But in addition to that, as far as competitions go, I think one of the really big differences for me was interview.
Yes.
Just getting used to what it's like interviewing in front of a panel for 10
Mm-hmm.
minutes rather than individually for 1 minute each. And so that was quite an adjustment for me. But I think at the exact same time, both opportunities and being able to interview in both ways have really paid off and eventually leading me to now where I am today. And it's one of the many takeaways that a lot of young women have from competing in competitions like this, of being able to apply that to their future job opportunities and interviewing for any other type of large positions. And so I definitely see that as being one of the big things, is kind of an adjustment in my preparation. But I'd say one of the biggest has been just really solidifying that plan for me going into my year,
Yeah.
and really knowing exactly what it is that I want to do throughout it.
Yeah. So, share with me, just I'm curious to
Mhm.
know because we didn't get to see inside
Right.
that interview room. Um, did you get a chance to share with your judges? Did they ask you specifically about your business plan or your marketing plan? Did you get to share some of that with them during your 10 minutes?
I got to share a little bit of it. Some of what I did get to mention had to do mainly with my community service
Yes.
initiative. Mine is called She Can Support Her Education, Change a Nation. And it truly is encompassing over 10 years now of my community service and my advocacy for gender and education equality. It primarily started off with my work in developing countries because of my family's background of being refugees coming to the United States, and me being first generation Eritrean American, and really seeing that lack of equality as far as educational opportunities go. But something I got to mention specifically that had to do with my business plan and moving forward as Miss Washington was really solidifying my work with the organization Washington Women in Need. It's been an
Mhm.
organization that I've really been really admiring for a really long time now. And so seeing how many similarities there are between, the work of Washington Women in Need and the Miss America opportunity, and allowing even more young women opportunities to pursue higher education through scholarship dollars.
Yes.
That was something that I really want to focus on throughout this year. And I'm really glad I got to mention that in my interview specifically.
Okay, so tell us, was there anything that happened during interview that surprised you or that left you feeling like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I just said that, or that the judges even would ask me that? Give us a little
Right.
insight to
Yes.
what happened during the interview process.
Quite honestly, interview growing up has always been kind of the competition that I feel like I get most in my head about, because I
Mm-hmm.
always want it to be the most perfect that it can be. And then I feel like because of that, I've never really fully able to enjoy my time in the
Yes.
interview room as much as I
Yes.
would like to, because I just feel like I'm overthinking things so much leading into it. But it was, I don't know, like, I guess it must have been all the preparation. That's probably that leading into this year. But I mean, I'd never felt so calm going into my interview before. And that was making such a big difference as far as my answers and how much fun I was able to have in the interview room, and honestly let loose and allow the judges to see different sides of me that, different fun sides. So,
Yeah.
that was really special. And I remember specifically one of the questions that um, I was asked. Somehow I got to mention one of my favorite board games that my friends and I always play all the time. It's called Settlers of Catan, and it's become one of our favorite activities, our favorite pastimes. And it's the funniest thing. After I had won Miss Seattle, that's exactly how we decided to celebrate, by playing Settlers of Catan. And as soon as I got home yesterday from the pageant, we played Settlers of Catan to celebrate again. So it was really funny being able to actually show the judges that side of me as well. And so that was something that wasn't even on my paperwork. And
Yeah.
just being able to really let loose and have fun and enjoy it and really treat it as a conversation rather than just me giving them a speech about me kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was really glad being able to walk out of that interview room and be able to feel confident in how my interview had gone, and for me to at least allow the judges to see different sides of me that I feel I've I've gotten the chance to definitely include in my interviews in the past before, but I feel like this time around there is something different about it. I just was able to enjoy the entire thing, and I'm really glad I was able to walk out of that interview and felt good about how it all went.
Yes, yes. Well, I'm so pleased to hear that, Hermona, because I will
Mhm.
just say, having the opportunity to get to know you already this year, you first of all, your beauty for some people would make you seem inaccessible, right? Like, oh
Mhm.
my goodness, she's so beautiful. And I'm sure you may hear that or
Mhm.
experience that throughout the year. I'm sure you probably have already. But your spirit is such that you are so generous in spirit
Thank
that it's
you.
you are so accessible. And you know what, doggone it, you are fun and you are funny.
Thank you.
And so
I like to think I am.
I'm so glad, because I'm sure when you walked into the interview room, there was that moment when the judges just went, wow. And then,
Thank
and then they were able to appreciate all these different aspects of you that you were able to uncover and reveal for them, really in your own forum and
you.
in your own way. And so I'm glad that you felt the freedom to be able to really drop the veil, drop your guard, be completely open and honest with them about the kind of person that you are and what makes you tick and what makes you lighthearted and fun and funny. And so now, when we have our annual alumni retreat, you are going to have to bring that game, and we are going to
Okay.
play that. You're going to have to teach all of us old alumni how to play this.
Sounds good.
I've seen that game before. I've never played it myself, but I would love to learn, and you're going to teach me,
It's so
okay?
much fun.
Okay,
I
good.
love
I'm
it.
excited about that. That'll be awesome. That'll be awesome. All right. So I did have some other questions that I made a note here I wanted to get into with you.
Mhm.
You alluded to this earlier. You're not a born and raised Washington girl.
I actually am.
Oh,
I'm
you
born
are
and
born.
raised in Washington. Yes,
Okay.
but my family had come to the United
Okay.
States. Yes.
Okay. So, but tell us about your family's journey
Hmm.
so that you could have the freedoms and the experiences that you have enjoyed
Hmm.
here growing up in the United States of America.
Right.
Share that story a little bit,
Yes.
because it's an interesting one.
It is definitely. So my family came to the United States as refugees from
Yes.
Eritrea during the War of Independence. Um, Both of them had pretty different stories of coming to the United States. My mom, for her, it started off with going to Saudi Arabia, then Canada, then Washington. But for my dad, he essentially walked half the continent of Africa, lived in a refugee camp for about 2 years, and then was eventually sponsored by a church to come live in Seattle. And he did this all with only his younger brother by his side. He was just a teenager at the time, and um, for him to eventually come to the United States, be sponsored by a church here, um, lived in an apartment with, I think he said 12 people, like a one bedroom apartment, and eventually be able to really getting to where he is now and being able to sponsor each of his family members. He's the oldest of 10. Um, and he was able to sponsor all his siblings, both his parents, so many of his cousins who are essentially raised to him as his siblings as well, because of how close and just because of how close our family is. And seeing how they've all been able to come to the United States now and start opportunities for them here, and um, allow each of their own children now opportunities for education, for so many opportunities, really. Every single time I think of it, I get emotional. And my dad and I were talking about it not that long ago, actually, because June 20th is World Refugee Day, and June 21st was his 40 years since he'd come to the United States. And so uh, it's something we were reflecting on not too long ago. And every single time I think about his journey of coming here and all that he'd really sacrificed, both my parents had really sacrificed of coming to the United States to allow me opportunities for a better life is I'm so incredibly grateful for. And yeah, I got to mention that in my interview as well. And I feel like that's a big thing that has been just such a big part of me, and really all goes back to why I just feel so much gratitude for my parents and all that they've been able to do for me.
Oh my goodness. Okay. And so you shared with me at one point how this journey that your parents experienced and their decision to come to the United States and raise a family here really impacted your decision to pursue the CSI that you have.
Yeah,
And
it
so
really
would you
has.
talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So, something that my parents have always really instilled in me growing up, I think especially because of just seeing the lack of education opportunities there are for a lot of young women in Eritrea, has always been, take full advantage of the opportunities in front of you. Education is so important. And I feel like I never truly understood why, at least in its fullest extent growing up. I am the oldest in my family. I have two younger brothers. And so I feel like naturally as the oldest sibling too, that's always something that we're kind of really taught because we know we want to set a good example for our younger siblings. But just looking deeper into it as the older I got and seeing how much of a lack of educational opportunities there are for so many people in Eritrea, especially for women. In the last decade, there's a statistic that still I feel really is what motivates me even further in my community service initiative. But in the last decade, only about 25% of college graduates in Eritrea were women. And so that seeing that lack of educational opportunities that there are for a lot of people there is what really, really motivates me. And especially seeing what could have been my life if it hadn't been for my family coming to the United States. I could have been a child bride because that is very common in a lot of countries like Eritrea. And so being able to donate so many school supplies now and books to my family's village of Mandafera year after year through my 501c3 that I started back in 2015. That was really what solidified that this is something that I really want to continue with. And I feel like if anything too, it also kind of brought me to also going into my field of public health that I decided to study on because of how many similarities there are between health and educational opportunities, and how education is a really big social determinant of health and health outcomes as well. So, really learning more and more about their sacrifices and seeing firsthand what they've been able to do for me and allowing me opportunities to access education, especially being, a college graduate now, and seeing what they've been able to do to really start me at a really good position growing up and doing everything in their power to really set me up for success starting at a young age to eventually lead me to where I am now. That's my biggest motivator of giving back to young women who don't have opportunities to access education. And so I started my 501c3 back in 2015. Since then, I've gotten the opportunity to partner with She's the First back in high school. That was an opportunity that came about with my involvement in my high school chapter. From there, lots of opportunities to fundraise scholarship dollars for young women. That organization specifically, they do incredible work reaching about 8,000 young women in scholarships across 11 different countries. And so seeing the opportunities I've been able to do with them and in my own 501c3, I feel like those are all my really big motivators, and all really goes back to all that my family's been able to instill in me growing up and seeing what could have been my reality if it hadn't been for them making that sacrifice.
Yeah. So share so let's look at that. Let's really look hard at that. So you just said, were it not for your parents coming to the United States as refugees, raising their family here, you could have been a child bride. You could have been left without access to education or limited access. And today you are standing before us instead as Miss Washington 2024 with access to $12,500 in scholarship that you just won, plus all of the other scholarship opportunities that will be afforded to you by going to the Miss America competition. lots of opportunities there to earn even more scholarships. You probably haven't even dipped your toe in the water yet to see exactly what
I
the
haven't even
spread
registered
is
in my
on all of
mind I'm
that.
going to Miss America yet.
And tell us about you are a college graduate. You are
Yes.
degreed in what areas?
My degree, I got my bachelor's in public health, global health, and I completed a minor in bioethics from the University of Washington.
And you have your sights set on graduate work?
Yes, for a master's in public health and a master's in public policy, doing a dual degree program.
Yeah. You are going to be an international force.
Thank you so
You
much.
are. You are. I mean, I can just see it. I could see it when we were talking previously about all of the work that you've done with your service initiative. I mean, you've touched multiple organizations that have international influence. There's just no doubt in my mind that this year as Miss Washington, you'll do great things for the state of Washington, but not only there, you will use this title to do great things globally, even if it's just to raise awareness. So I'm super excited about that for you. Yeah. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, you've been Miss Washington for a whole 5 minutes. But I'm sure that you have some things you want to do this year, like some things that are maybe, outside of I'm going to raise awareness via my CSI, and I'm going to educate, and I'm going to advocate on behalf of the organizations that I'm affiliated with, and for young women to have access to education. But what else do you want to do this year as Miss Washington? What are some of your plans?
So much. There's so much I want to do. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. I've had a running list of things that I've wanted to do since even before I had gotten started within the Miss America opportunity since starting last year. And that list, it's a long one, but I think some of my really big ones definitely have to do a lot with health equity and health literacy work, especially going back to my schooling, my education with my background in public health. That's something that's really important to me, especially now too with our partnership with the American Heart Association that I've gotten the chance to get involved in with the Puget Sound chapter for since February of this year. So before I'd won a Miss Seattle title, getting involved as far as policy and advocacy go, because I'm so interested in public health policy, but also just because of how important this work is. And I'm really, really grateful now for the opportunity to continue that work with the American Heart Association as Miss Washington. I recently had the opportunity actually to be at one of their advocacy meetings about a week before, or actually less than a week before I had left for Miss Washington. They have a lot of really exciting things coming up. And I think, even getting more of my sister title holders involved, all of our local title holders, and seeing exactly what kind of impact we're able to leave, I think that'll be really special. And then as far as health literacy and health advocacy goes too, also going back to my diagnosis with type 1 diabetes, that happened so recently for me. I was diagnosed in December of 2020, all in the middle of a global pandemic and all while applying to public health school. So it was definitely quite the adjustment for me. It was something that I had no idea would ever happen to me, especially considering how old I was, I guess, as far as my diagnosis goes, because it is typically diagnosed a lot younger.
Right.
And for me, it got really dangerous. It got really scary. I almost lost my life to it because of how prolonged my misdiagnosis got. And so, I'm really grateful now that I have that opportunity to be able to access medication, number one, but also be able to advocate even more for medication affordability and medical device representation. Right now, I'm wearing a long sleeve, but I'm wearing my Dexcom on my arm, my continuous glucose monitor, and I love wearing that as I compete in pageants because I think representation is so important in so many different fields and industries, and representing so many different backgrounds of people as well. And so, you never know who you're able to reach by just embracing different sides of you. And I think by wearing my Dexcom so visibly as I compete in pageants, it's been really special seeing, who's been able to be touched by that. And so health advocacy is definitely number one on my list as well, in addition to my CSI. There's also a lot of work that I'm really excited to be part of, considering my background of also being, the fifth Black Miss Washington in our organization's history. I think that's really, really special.
Yes.
And I really want to continue a lot of work as far as diversity, equity, and inclusion goes, and allowing even more young women opportunities to compete who may not otherwise have those opportunities. And so reaching young women all around our state who haven't always felt most represented in terms of pageantry, because I remember even in my own pageantry growing up, there were times where I didn't know if this was something that was right for me because I'd never seen title holders who looked like me. And so I think, just continuing that importance of representation and really showing young women that they too have places within our organization and that they deserve to be here. That's another really big thing for me. I'd love to see as well too, as far as different performance opportunities. I am a singer. I do that for talent. And I think that'd be really special as well. I'm actually going to be singing the national anthem at the Seattle Mariners game on August 8th. So that'll be really exciting. Hopefully even more performance opportunities as well.
Say that date one more time so we can all put it in our calendars.
August 8th.
August 8th. Hermona is singing the national anthem at the Mariners game.
I am so excited.
Put it in your mouth.
Yeah, that's another one for sure. And then, I mean, it still feels so crazy to say, but I'm going to Miss America. So that's something I'm really excited for too.
Yay! We're also excited for that too. It's going to be such a fun experience for you, first of all. But secondly, I'm so excited. The thing that I love most about the Miss America competition being held in January is that it gives you time. It gives you, when it was held in September and our state pageants are wrapping up, in May, June, and even into July, and then you're getting ready to go to Miss America. You just have a couple of short months. You haven't even really had the opportunity to go out and work under the crown yet in your year of service. And I think that's imperative to be able to go out and do some of the actual work, the things that you're talking about with your health initiatives as well as with your service initiative, and then also to do some of the fun stuff, because it's great to get out there and have speaking opportunities, performance opportunities, and opportunities to just be with people and be a role model and have that exposure. It leaves you so much more well prepared to step under the crown and the responsibilities of Miss America and feel well prepared so that when you arrive to compete during that experience, that you just feel ready. You just feel so much more ready. So I love that you get all of this time, and I'm thrilled that Peggy has asked me to be a part of the prep team this year, and I get to be
so excited.
in the mix with everything that you're doing. And I know how much fun, we last year, the alumni put together a mock interview for Vanessa, and then took her to lunch, and it's just, things that we get to do as alumni that, we just really love spending time with our new Miss Washington. So, so let's talk about your Miss America plans for just a moment, because I know you're only just getting just getting accustomed to the idea that you are Miss Washington.
I know.
And you are going to Miss America, but I know you, as you said, you've been watching for years. You and your mom have been, oh my goodness, what if? So share with me a little bit about what's it like for mom to know that her daughter will be competing on the Miss America stage. What is it like for you to be able to say, this is a dream coming true, but really even more than that, if we took this to the next level, Hermona, like what would that look like for you to actually do the job of Miss America?
Right.
Have you thought about that yet?
Honestly, I don't know. I feel like Miss Washington is still really sinking in. Oh my gosh. The thought of that it really is just such a dream come true. Like I said, I had been watching Miss America year after year with my mom, and it's always been an opportunity I've dreamt of, but it's never really been something that I feel it really hit me that this could actually happen to me until much more recently now. And so it really is just a childhood dream, really just coming true for me, just even being able to be Miss Washington and being able to go to Miss America. My mom's been freaking out. It's been the cutest thing, just seeing how excited she gets watching the video of me being crowned, and she's sending it to everybody she knows, and it's been so special, just the family support that's come out of it. Um, it's been really special. As soon as I got home after getting to meet with the board for
Mhm.
breakfast and getting everything packed up and in the car, as soon as we got home, we actually went straight to my uncle's house, and I had so many of my family members already waiting for me, ready to congratulate me. And um they're already so excited about going to Miss America. They're all set because I come from a really big family too, and they are all taking this as okay, this is our chance too to also go to Disney. Like this is a big thing for all of us. So it's been so special just seeing how many of my family members have also been so excited about it, and how my entire community really has
Mm.
gotten so excited about it,
Yes.
especially how tight knit and close our archery community is. It's I really am at a loss for words. Normally I love to talk. I am a yapper, but I'm truly at a loss for words of just how special this opportunity is, and
Yeah.
I really can't wait. I'm so excited for it.
Well, we're excited for you too, and we're excited to go and cheer you on. And truly, I remember for my experience at Miss America, when you get to competition at that
Mhm.
level and you walk in, you really recognize that any of these women, for the most part, could do
Mhm.
this job. And
Exactly.
so, just to be ranked among that group
Hmm.
of elite
It
women,
means so much.
it really means a lot. It means a
Mhm.
lot. So you're going to have a great time, and we can't wait to get you ready to go and experience it with you while you're there. So I do have a couple of kind of fun interviewee questions that
Okay.
I wanted to ask you. Okay, so the first one would be, what makes you feel like an empowered woman? What
Mm.
makes you feel empowered?
Hmm. I think for me, honestly, a lot of what goes back to our 4 points of the crown.
Mhm.
Um, I think style is a really big one for me.
Yes, and you're
Um,
always looking good, girl.
thank
You got it. You got
you.
that style.
Thank you. I love how style could be such a beautiful form of self-expression in
Mm-hmm.
so many ways.
Mm-hmm.
And I think style too is so much more than just the clothing that we
Yes.
wear. I think it's the way we carry ourselves, um, the way that we walk into a
Yeah.
room, and the way that we treat others too, I
Yes.
think is also a big part of our style as well. Um, so I definitely say style is a big one for me of what makes me feel
Mm-hmm.
empowered. And in addition to that, I think honestly, just being in community with others.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Being in community with others who empower me to be the best version of
Yeah.
myself that I can be. Um, I'd say those are definitely two that make me feel most empowered.
Yeah. Yeah. So then my next natural question then that comes
Mhm.
out of that is, introvert or extrovert?
I think I'm an extrovert. I'm definitely an extrovert.
Okay. If you're drawing powered for the sake of empowerment from being in community, I was gonna say I'm
Mhm.
gonna guess extrovert. Yep,
Mhm.
yep. Okay. Awesome, awesome. We do have introverted Miss Washingtons who've come under the
Mhm.
crown,
Very
and
true.
and it's tough. It's tough to be an introvert and do an extroverted job
Right.
like this one. I think it's a little bit easier when you're an extrovert to be able
Mhm.
to do that, because you are called upon to be in that busy environment, in
Mhm.
community, in relationship, being extroverted regularly and consistently.
Right.
However, it can drain your tank, and so from a
Mhm.
self-care perspective,
Right.
let the voice of the past speak to you here and say, make sure that you work in your rest days and put those on the calendar
I
too.
definitely will.
Yep, yep. What would you say the Miss America opportunity has given you up to this point
Mhm.
in terms of personal growth? Where have you
Mhm.
seen that happen for yourself? And in terms of professional growth, where have you
Mhm.
seen that for yourself?
I think for me, especially joining this organization at a time where I was just finishing up my time in
Mm-hmm.
college and, taking on this next chapter of my life and seeing exactly what impact I want to leave as far as my personal and professional growth go. This organization has been everything for me. It's truly been so helpful and beneficial for me of really solidifying exactly my career path that I want to go into, if as far as advocacy opportunities that I've been able to be part of now with health advocacy. And it's also really taught me the importance too of scholarship. It's always been something that I've known is really important. But now, being able to, be given these scholarship dollars and being able to apply them to my future grad school program, that's everything to me, especially given my family's background. There's so much that really goes into it. And then, of course, the point too of success of the Miss America crown, being able to find success too in myself, and knowing that, there is so much too that goes into our journey competing in pageantry, but seeing that there is so much too of just different opportunities that there are to grow, just from the sake of competing, not even just from winning on its own. There's been so many sisters that have been able to gain from this as well, and so that, oh my gosh, I think about this group, especially this class of 2024, and I truly had the most incredible week with them. I've never been in a group of young women that just immediately clicked in the way that we did. And just seeing how special each and every one of them were and how close we all became so quickly is just, there's just so much that this organization's given me. And for what feels like such a short amount of time, of it only being 2 years, I know so many young women have been involved with it for even longer. And so coming into this experience, kind of just, hoping to try something new and just knowing that I'll gain something in competing, just not too sure exactly what it was just yet, if that makes sense. But seeing how much I've gained within this amount of time has been absolutely incredible. And I really am so grateful to be part of it.
Awesome. So we talked a little bit about what the organization has given you. And so now I'm curious if you even had a chance to think yet about what it is that you would like to give to the organization this year, to the Miss Washington Scholarship Organization, to the Miss America organization, through your service, but moreover through your legacy. So our beautiful Vanessa Munson, who just passed on the title Miss Washington 2023, she really left us a very special legacy of what is your beautiful, and the impactful her story that she left us with on final night. If people haven't had a chance to watch that, look for that video to be posted, because it was so powerful. And I know that when Vanessa started under the crown, she would not have given the same powerful her story that she was able to give on the final day that she wore the crown. And so that is part of her beautiful legacy, what the organization gave her in terms of a voice and that empowerment to be able to speak out in that powerful way, developed her. But then she was able to leave us with something really special in that power for future women coming into the program and seeing what that looks like to be a truly empowered woman with a super strong voice, not only for herself, but to lead others and to encourage others and uplift others. So what about for you, Hermona? What do you think you might want your legacy to look like, or your gift to the organization this year in your service?
I think for me, it really all goes back to what I had mentioned previously about the importance of representation. And I really want to show even more young women who may not have thought pageantry was for them, that they have a place within our organization. Because this organization, this opportunity is so life-changing. In the short amount of time that I've been Miss Washington now, I've just gotten a short glimpse of what this year is going to consist of. And I just know, the opportunities that there are for that personal and professional development, that is everything to me. And I really want even more young women to see, the power that Miss America opportunity has. And I really want that to be my legacy, of showing young women that they too have a place here, because this organization truly is everything. And I want nothing more than for even more young women to see that they can gain so much from this experience. And that's definitely a big one for me, of showing them that they have a place here and that they are deserving of being here.
Absolutely. As are you, Miss Washington. As are you. So I won't continue to keep you. I'm so excited to hear more about your business plan as we continue to go forward, to watch you really engage with your CSI as we continue forward, and just to watch you work in your work as Miss Washington 2024. It's a big job. It's a fun job. It's a weighty responsibility, but just know that you have a community around you, and not just the community that you're most familiar with, but the community that you're yet to get to know, that is the Miss America opportunity, that is the Miss Washington organization. We are all rooting for you. We're behind you. We're excited for you. And if you need anything, just know that via Peggy, you have access to all kinds of support and encouragement and love and resources, really, as you dig into what this year and this work is going to look like for you. So we're excited for the partnership with you for the organization this year, because you bring so much to it, but also we're excited to see the organization partner with you, and really where that can go. Not just here in the state of Washington, but across the country. And for you, because of what you're bringing, even globally, Hermona, I'm just thrilled for you.
Thank you so much.
You're
I'm
welcome.
So excited for this year. And I truly am so just grateful for every single person who makes up our organization, and just seeing just the outpour of love and support from everyone it's incredible. I really am at a loss for words for it. So thank you. I'm so excited for this year ahead.
Yay! Go Team Wa!
Yes.
All right. Well, I will let you go. And we will be posting this up on YouTube. So folks who didn't get a chance to hop on or wanted to see it, but there was a time conflict, let your friends, family, and fans know that they'll be able to find it on my YouTube channel later. I'll make sure you get links to that.
Sounds great.
All right.
Well, thank
Take
you
care, my
so
dear.
much.
Good luck, Miss Washington.
Thank
We'll see you soon. Oh, you have a news interview.
I
mention that really quick. You have an interview this week.
I do. Yes, it'll be at 9:15 on Fox 13 Good Day Seattle. I got to interview with Jade Elliott again. I'm so excited for it. So
say it one more time. It's on
Fox 13 on Good Day Seattle.
Yes.
It'll be at 9:15 a.m. with Jade Elliott.
Okay. And what day of the week?
It'll be Saturday.
Saturday morning.
Saturday morning.
At 9:15. Okay. On Q13, new day.
Yes.
With Jade this weekend. Okay. Yes. All right. Another one. Mark on the calendar. So
there we go.
Stuff. Exciting stuff for you already. Yeah. And you've already had the chance to interview with Jade once before when you were Miss Seattle. So this should be a little walk in the park for you. Just another friendly chit chat with somebody you already know well. And Jade's a former contestant in the Miss America organization as well. Yeah. So she knows all the ins and outs, and she'll be a great interview for you again as Miss Washington.
Yes, I'm so excited to meet with her. It'll be so much fun.
Yeah. Great. All right, Hermona, I'm going to let you off of here.
Right.
And thanks to those who joined us today. All right.
Thank you so much.
The first runner-up is an important position. If the new Miss Washington 2024 cannot fulfill her duties for any reason, then the first runner-up will be named to that position. Our first runner-up will receive a $3,000 scholarship. Our new Miss Washington will receive a $12,500 scholarship sponsored by Keith and Carol Kruger.
The next name we are going to call will be your new Miss Washington.
Miss Washington 2024 is Miss Seattle.